India's story since independence has always been about resilience, self-respect, and rising against odds. But one lesson that history keeps reminding us is this: India should never blindly trust the United States of America. Let's go back to 1947. When India became independent, the USA projected itself as the global champion of democracy. But what did it do in reality? Instead of supporting the world's largest democracy, Washington chose to side with Pakistan, a military controlled state from its very birth. Why? Because Pakistan was willing to serve as America's pawn in the Cold War. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, the US armed Pakistan with weapons, tanks, and aircraft, despite knowing that these would be used against India. During the 1965 and 1971 wars, America shamelessly tilted towards Pakistan. In fact, during the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, the USA even sent its 7th Fleet, led by aircraft carrier USS Enterprise, into the Kalinga Sagar, also known as Bay of Bengal, to threaten India. Imagine that, the so-called leader of democracy threatening another democracy just to protect its authoritarian ally. And when India conducted its first nuclear test in 1974, instead of appreciating India's scientific achievement, the US imposed sanctions, isolating India in global forums. For decades, Washington denied us access to advanced technology, while freely supplying the same to Pakistan. Even during the Kargil War of 1999, when Pakistani soldiers infiltrated Indian territory, America initially asked India to show restraint. Restraint while our soldiers were fighting to reclaim our own land. Now, fast forward to the present. The US continues to play the same old game. On one hand, it calls India a strategic partner in the Indo-Pacific. But on the other, it keeps supplying military aid to Pakistan in the name of counter-terrorism. In 2023 and 24, Washington approved upgrades for Pakistan's F-16 fighter jets, the very same jets used against India. And in 2025, reports again confirmed that US military aid to Pakistan has been quietly restarted. When it comes to global issues, American hypocrisy becomes even clearer. The US criticizes India for buying discounted oil from Russia, claiming it funds Moscow's war. But what is the truth? While lecturing India, America itself has been increasing imports of Russian uranium, and in 2024, its trade in essential goods like fertilizers and raw materials with Russia quietly went up. Europe too imported more Russian LNG in 2024, but Washington never called them out. This proves one thing: when the West does it, it's called strategy. When India does it, it suddenly becomes immoral. Similarly, when it comes to human rights, the US has no hesitation in pointing fingers at India. In 2024 and 2025, American officials raised concerns about Indian democracy and religious freedom. But the same America refuses to question its all-weather ally Pakistan on the genocide of minorities, state-sponsored terrorism, or the suppression of democracy. Their silence speaks louder than their words. And let's not forget the double standards on defense. When India builds partnership with Russia for S-400 missile system or with Iran for Chabahar port, Washington threatens us with sanctions. But when it sells billions of dollars worth of weapons to authoritarian regimes in West Asia, that becomes strategic necessity. Time and again, America has shown that its friendship depends only on its own interests. It praises India when it needs us to balance China, but the moment our paths diverge, Washington starts putting pressure, whether through trade restrictions, sanctions, threats, or moral lectures. India's foreign policy has always been based on self-respect and independence. And today, under strong leadership, India is showing the world that we don't need anyone's certificate. We are building global influence on our own terms, whether it's diplomacy with Russia, strong ties with Global South, or strategic partnerships with in Asia. The United States may remind the next generation why India should never trust it blindly. But India is also showing the next generation why we must trust in our own civilizational values, unity, self-reliance, and dignity. Because these are what truly secure our future. This is not about being anti-America. It's about being pro-India. History has taught us one truth. India's destiny will always be guided by Indian values, Indian strength, and Indian pride. If you believe every Indian should know the truth, then share this video and subscribe to Pradhan's Education. Together, we will continue to bring clarity on geopolitics, history, and national issues.